a first-come, first-served basis. 310-450-3524. Up next, music from Penelope Houston. She formerly fronted a band called the Avengers during the punk heyday in San Francisco, and she's, in recent years, been heading an acoustic group that sounds terrific. They've got a new release on Heyday Records. It's called The Whole World. Penelope Houston is in town for the day, and we've got her next. She joins us here in the studio. Penelope Houston, next on Morning Becomes Eclectic.
Take me along on the life of the party. Day after day I hear my promises fade, giving lip service to the mercy of my friends. And all the boys that tell me how they're gonna love me, and all my girlfriends they say, well, you're so
Qualities of Mercy from Penelope Houston and her band. The album's called The Whole World. It's on Heyday Records. and you can find this on CD around town. I'm Chris Doritas. This is Morning Becomes Eclectic on KCRW. Penelope Houston appears tonight at Hollywood Moguls in Hollywood and tomorrow night at Al's Bar in downtown Los Angeles. They're also doing a couple of in-store appearances over the next couple of days. Today at Aaron's Records on Highland in Hollywood. That's at 4 o'clock today. They'll also be up at the Virgin Megastore in West Hollywood on Sunset tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock for what I understand is an acoustic performance.
Some people would wonder how's that different, but it'll be even more acoustic.
More acoustic than what we just heard?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So what does that mean? You with an auto harp?
Well, I'll have an auto harp at the shows, and for these in-stores, I'll probably just be there singing, and everyone else will be playing totally acoustically like we do in rehearsal.
Okay. Well, that's the voice of Penelope Houston, and you might have thought that I was joking when I said auto harp, but in fact, when you look at the liner notes for the new album, The Whole World, she is cradling an auto harp, and I find this so fascinating because you really made a splash the first time with a band called the Avengers, which was a San Francisco punk band that I never saw live, but I understand that you guys opened for the Sex Pistols on their final show, which was...
Yeah, January 78. You were probably in the cradle, Chris.
Oh, Penelope. Hey, I was just learning how to drive. I was just getting my driver's license.
Oh, okay. You could have been there. It was, that was wild. That was a wild show a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Scary, too.
Really?
I think it was the biggest show that I've ever played, and it was the biggest show that they'd ever played, and everyone there was quite terrifying. The audience, they thought that they needed to be really hardcore because they were at the Sex Pistols, so they all did their best.
Now, did everybody know that it was going to be the last Sex Pistols show going into it, or was that maybe the reason it was the last show? People got so fed up, it's like, hey, this is it, forget it.
Yeah, I think their whole career was the reason that was their last show, but nobody knew.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I knew. Maybe someone knew, but...
Well, to make you made a very serious turn in the years that followed. Somehow you made the choice to break down the sound a little bit, to turn your sound, which I guess at the time was a little bit more hardcore, into a simpler, more simple stated sound.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny if you look at bands like X, and there's actually a lot of punk bands that sort of broke down and got back to their roots in a way and experimented with different instrumentation. And I started listening to the Violent Femmes and Tom Waits and became interested in a lot of different sounds than just electric guitar, electric bass. I love the acoustic bass. I think it's an incredible instrument, great sound. And after a long time, I started, I think early 84, I started trying to put together an acoustic band, and it's just grown from there into this one. So.
Well, I think you've done a marvelous job with it.
Thanks. Thanks.
There's nothing simple in my kiss.
listening to Penelope Houston from the album called The Whole World. It's new on Heyday Records out of San Francisco. I'm Chris Doritas. Penelope Houston is in the studio. You can catch her tonight at Hollywood Moguls in Hollywood. That's a performance this evening. And tomorrow they're at Al's Bar in downtown Los Angeles. There's a couple in-stores I want to mention again. Aaron's this afternoon at 4 o'clock in Hollywood, and Virgin Megastore tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And Penelope Houston is in the studio. We have just a short amount of time because we are preempted today for the upcoming Janet Reno special that starts next hour. But I do want to ask you quickly, it must be very odd for you to, after having had a guitar in hand for a number of years, and to be holding an instrument like an auto harp, which is something you probably first saw in your 6th grade music class.
Kindergarten.
Yeah.
Actually, Chris, it's that's my first instrument, is the auto harp.
That's
I don't
true,
play
you know?
guitar. I've never played guitar, and that's why I play auto harp, is because you just push a button and strum and you've got a full chord. And I was too lazy to learn how to play guitar. So when I write songs, I write them on the auto harp.
You've always done that?
I used to just take the melodies to the band, and they would put chords to it for me.
I see.
And finally, I just got, I guess, possessive or something, and I took up the auto harp. Actually, a friend of mine, Mary O'Neill from the Wannabe Texans, plays the auto harp. She wrote all her songs on auto harp, so I thought, well, if she can push a button and strum, so can I. And that's really how I started playing that, and then I'd show the band, and they'd say, okay, that's good, but you have to play the auto harp during this song. So I actually play it on stage for about 4 songs, and on the album maybe for 2. So that's how I took up auto harp. It was just lack of musical confidence on my part. It makes me play it. It's easy. Get one, folks.
That's true. It is easy. It's one instrument that I mastered. At least I felt like I did. I could get the C7 chord, no problem.
Yeah, you don't have to contort your fingers or anything.
Thanks for coming by, and I hope you'll come back and see us with the band at some point when we can give you guys some more time.
That'd be great. We'd love to.
Penelope Houston on KCRW. We're listening to Penelope Houston from The Whole World on Heyday Records. My thanks to Penelope for dropping by this morning. Again, you can check them out tonight at Hollywood Moguls and tomorrow at Al's Bar in Los Angeles. They're doing in-stores this afternoon at 4 at Aaron's in Hollywood. and tomorrow afternoon at 1 at Virgin Megastore in West Hollywood. You're listening to Morning Becomes Eclectic on KCRW Santa Monica and KCRU Oxnard. We're a community service of Santa Monica College at 89.9 and 89.1 FM, National Public Radio for more of Southern California. Just ahead, a special edition of Which Way LA, hosted by Warren Olney, live from the LA County Museum of Natural History. It's a town hall meeting with the new U.S. Attorney General, Janet Reno. The audience is composed of citizens invited by congressional representatives from the Los Angeles area. They'll be posing questions to Ms. Reno. That's coming up next, following news from National Public Radio. It's 1 minute